Alright, in this video we're going to go over a simple grazing map. Just a map that I put together. You can make it a lot more simple than this, and it shouldn't make that much sense to you right now because you don't know the shape of my land and what you're looking at. So what I did was just take a screenshot from Google Earth and I printed it out. But before I printed it out, I took it into an image editor, and let me walk around what I did here. So this is the farm, Kent Falls Brewing Company. This is the farm property. This is our eastern border, and we don't have access to any of this land, so I grayed it out. And this is our western border, where there's a little subdevelopment, and we don't have access to any of this land, so I grayed it out. We don't do much around the pond across the street, so it got a little cut off. It doesn't matter. This is our farmstead, about 6.5 acres of stuff. This is where the brewery is, shop and all that. And then I broke the fields up by relative geography and then relative size into things that I would use. And I just took, you can do this in Microsoft Paint. There's free editors online. My buddy Troy uses PowerPoint and takes lines and draws it on PowerPoint. There's a lot of different ways to do this. If I were you and I was suggesting you create this, which what I'm doing, is get it so it's printable on an 8.5 by 11 or 8 by 10 piece of paper, because then it's easy to print and reprint. This is just something I can draw on. I have a color laser printer, so printing in color is very cheap for me. So I've gone through, what I did first was mark out all the edges of the property lines, and then I started to lay out all the water in blue, where things really wet, where do seasonal streams, like this is all dry right now when I'm filming this, but occasionally this is very wet. This is a very wet field, and these are all things to bear in mind. And you can make more complicated versions of this where you have a layer where all your farm infrastructure, where your water drops, where your fences, where your gates. I'm not worrying about that right now. I just wanted like 1.5 to 2 acre paddocks to work in. And then as you do soil tests and stuff over time, you can add in other information about what your organic matter percentage is, the pH of your soil, add notes. You can have the corresponding numbers to a chart with notes on the side that says those certain bullet points. We love information when it comes to farming, so the more information, the better. But at some point, it can get too cluttered and you have too much on there. So think about, as you're creating your grazing map, what you want to put on it. What purpose does it serve? Are you planning grazing? Are you planning fencing? Are you planning water drops? And you may have a file with different layers on it, depending on your image editing savvy and acuity or whatever, how good you are at editing photos. You might have several versions of this with varying information, but for the purposes of grazing planning, we're going to keep it very simple. And to have it be very simple, I just assign numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These were arbitrary. You could use field names, whatever you want. And then I measured them out, and for the purpose of this exercise, I rounded them up. 2.5 acres, 1.5 acres, 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres, 3 acres, 1.5, 2. I generally sized it to that half-acre size. It's not 100% accurate for this map, if anybody is ever auditing me later, because this was 2.9 acres, so I rounded to 3. This was 1.8 acres, so I rounded to 2, or whatever the case may be. But simplified it as a teaching tool, and that's our grazing map. And how we're going to use that is, now we have the farm delineated into relatively kind of straightforward areas. And so instead of trying to manage a 50-acre property, I'm managing 2 acres at a time, but not 2 square feet at a time because that's too small. An acre, 2 acres, 20 acres, 100 acres, depending on, if you're a grain farmer in the Midwest, it's 1,000-acre plots, 10,000-acre plots. We're doing small managed grazing, and breaking them into small digestible chunks gives me that reference point, so I can do a certain amount of soil testing year to year, a certain amount of management and impact, soil amendments. It keeps it all simple, digestible, approachable, so that as you build out your plans on top of it, you have that common reference point. There's lots of different ways to set up this map, but getting the basics on there and having a tool that you print out that you can see and feel and sit down next to somebody and say, what if we do here and here? If you're able to put your communication and record keeping tools on a clipboard around the farm, that clipboard system beats out a digital system for your average person kind of any day of the week. The trick is going to be trying to put that into a computer later to try to get some analysis off of it. You don't need that deep of analysis for every area of your farm, but some type of record keeping is essential. And having this is a list of resources. This pasture map is where's your water, where's your land, where's your fences, where's your this, that, and the other things, what are your soil types, etc. This is going to give you that map to then, as you develop grazing plans or planting plans or whatever, give you that framework to work within. So I think I've said the same thing enough times now. I love doing this stuff so much, and I've spent years putting the simplified version together from the complicated grazing systems that I've been exposed to. And I hope that this helps bridge the gap for you and gets you into managing your livestock in a way that rebuilds soil, gives a great life for your animals, a great product for your customers, and then a good sustainable life for you, the farmer or homesteader.